Hi, I'm the Hedge writer. Welcome to my first podcast, Rituals. We will be discussing the human need for rituals and rhythms and how we can incorporate them into our daily life. We will also look at how to build a personal ritual for spiritual growth and manifestation. I want to encourage you to post questions and comments as we go along the podcast today. I will read any of those questions at the end of the podcast, but please feel free to comment as we go along. Let's first look at the definition of the word ritual. Merriam-Webster defines the noun as a series of acts regularly repeated in a set, precise manner. As an adjective, of or relating to rites and rituals, ceremonial. As an adjective, social custom and normal protocol. The human need for rites, rituals, and rhythms is most prevalent in our daily life. What we sometimes call the mundane, everyday routine can be used to shift our perspective into mindful intention and peaceful rhythm. Taking daily customs and recognizing how they can be used to shift our energy and focus will lead to the integration of more moments in life that shift us into positive thinking and space, continuing a momentum based on a positive rhythm and cycle. How we embrace or reject our daily routines and rituals directly affects our happiness in life. Sing a song that makes you happy while you brush your teeth, or add an uplifting sentence to your self-talk when taking a shower in the morning. And then, of course, some days are easy like Sunday mornings and require a break of routine. Humans are funny animals that way, always needing a break away from routine, but then craving it as soon as we dismiss it. Some structure and familiar rituals are essential for mental health and positive energy. As we look at rituals and our milestones and life achievements, they're usually steeped in familiar customs and rituals. Birthdays, anniversaries, births, marriages, divorces, and death. All ceremonies are performed with one rite or another involved. We light candles on our birthday cake and blow out the candles to make a wish. We hold 3-day wakes when a loved one dies. Some celebrate an annual night dedicated to the love of the ancestors and those who have passed on before us. We host elaborate ceremonies for the union of two individuals starting their life together. It is an important part of life to take the time to celebrate our milestones and achievements. The rites of passage through life's stages have been lost in most modern society. This serious omission of these crucial ceremonies has had an enormous effect on humanity. It has pushed us to an escalated state of constant searching for acceptance and belonging. The effect has created generations of confusion surrounding where we start as adults and where we go from there. How to shift in a healthy and positive manner. How to build a strong foundation of who we are. These are no longer discussed, let alone taught to children in most first world countries. We have come to loathe some of the things that make us who we are as a species, and we must become aware of this loss and work to bring balance back into our modern lives by adding rituals and ceremony. As we look at using rituals to shift our energy, we can use these to shift the surrounding energy around ourselves as a person, around our space at home, our workspace, or even within groups of people or our families. When we talk about this power, we must think about this power remained based in responsibility and respect for self and others. When you begin to realize the power and the ability within yourself to use the tools that resonate within you to create your own rituals and rites, you will be able to adjust the rhythm of your own life. Building upon the ideas and values that are already yours, you will learn to shift your energy or the surrounding energies. Always be mindful of your intention. Always be mindful of karma and using negative means. Harm none. especially yourself. Next, we look at the ideas of rituals in celebrating the wheel of the year, recognized and celebrating the rhythm of the earth. From the days of the ancients, we have celebrated and honored the shifting cycles of our planet. Seasons have ruled the lives of so many through the entirety of mankind. There are countless holidays and celebrations around the world where customs and rituals vary greatly. It is the beauty of diversity that drives the rhythm of Earth. Local and familiar rites are most likely handed down through generations, each one shifting the style of ceremony slightly. And it's up to us to use the customs and practices that have been passed down to us, or to create new ones that represent your beliefs, or mixing all of them together to create your own style. Building a ritual around the wheel will bring a natural balance to your life. It aids in the shifting of the seasons, physically and mentally, as our life maintains the congruent cycles all around us. Our bodies, minds, and spirits shift in a similar cycle. Life is infinite cycles. Embrace those cycles and use them to shift your life's energy and purpose. Create a rhythm and routine that builds peace and comfort within. As we take a look at setting the method for creating your own ceremony and your own personal rituals, I want to encourage you to start with a written draft, always using a pencil to make sure that we can correct our mistakes, or as we make changes, we can easily go ahead and create a new set of method. When we talk about creating our own ceremony, we talk about building your own personal ritual, we look at three key pieces. We look at the goal or our outcome that we desire. We look at the materials we're going to need for it to actually do the ceremony, and then we'll look at the method, the series of events that happen surrounding this method that we're going to create. And as we look at the goal, we want to start with a clear intention. We must be as clear as possible with what we want from our outcome. The entire tone of the ritual will be set on how you perceive your purpose. Take your time and use your words carefully. Spelling is called spelling for a very good reason. It is always best to take the approach of advancing your knowledge or seeking understanding. Be as honest as possible with what your true desired outcome is. Be aware that the intentions are not overly selfish or may only be for a fleeting desire. After you have set a clear intention, we must identify the necessary materials you'll need. What materials will be needed and what ones are on hand. We want to make sure we're being practical and creative. Take a few minutes to think about the manner of their use and what will be done with them after the ritual. If you are using things you may not want to part with, and the method indicates that in the end you will be parted with your item, don't use it. That perfect feather may be perfect for right now, or it may not be something that you want to let go. Do what feels best to you. We want to always listen to our head, our heart, and our belly. If all three agree, then go for it. And that's pretty much anything in life. We want to always use that head, heart, and belly as our guide. Finally, we arrive at the method. This is where all the magic happens, where we create the series of events for our desired goal, the sauce of the ceremony, where the flavors meld and the spices blend. There is no wrong way or right way to create your ceremony or ritual. There are a lot of suggested ways, and it helps to start off by looking at a variety of methods from a variety of sources. A lot of people do things differently. There's usually a common thread, though, that most people will use, setting the intention, gathering their materials, and then certain processes along the way of their actual method. And I want to encourage you not to get hung up on those words in your method and what you're saying. It's nice to see what other people have out there. We live in an amazing time with information at our fingertips. You can Google, You can use Pinterest and look and see what other people might be using out there for their ceremonies and get some ideas. But I encourage you to use your own wording and really put your own spin on this. Sometimes it's best not to script anything, for our words at least, during a ceremony. Having everything else laid out in front of us is always good, but maybe not script our words. Sometimes we need to be present in that moment and just let those words come as we begin to build that ceremony. And of course, there are, like I said, some certain processes and manners that help to provide a fluid foundation for your ceremony. But don't get caught up in those steps. Just have a loose, rough draft as you begin to do this. And as you craft more and more, you're going to find what feels right with you, what feels good. You're going to do the same things over and over again. And as you happen to go through and build all these rituals, it will come to you. Just have some patience. But it's always good to start with it written down first. And again, I'm always going to encourage you, the more you hear me talk, the more I'm going to tell you to follow your own intuition. Do what feels right to you. You know, these are your rituals. They're your personal ceremonies. Most of the time, no one else will be there with you. No one else will hear. No one else will even know what your goals, what your outcome is, or that you're even doing them. So these are very personal. Make them personal. Make them count. Have them help become tools that you really can use in your everyday life, and even during those special times when we need an extra boost or we need an extra connection. And we always want to remember that this is our personal journeys. Do as you will, but harm none. So I'm going to go ahead and perform a very simple ceremony of smudging and clearing using sage and mugwort. My goal is to smudge myself and the space around me, clearing out any negative energies. And today I'm going to use a white sage and mugwort combination stick, a lighter, and an ash catcher. I'm using a hand-blown glass piece made by the local artist Hedge right here in Palm Bay, Florida. You can use anything you'd like as an ash catcher. Remember to get creative and use what you have. Never ever feel like you have to go out and buy an abalone shell in order to use a smudge stick. You can use a plate, you can use an old ashtray, you can use anything that's fireproof when using something with fire, and get creative with your materials. Don't really feel like you need to go out and buy a bunch of stuff for your rituals. Remember that there's a lot that's available in nature. Bring it in for your rituals, or even head out into nature to take your rituals outside to perform them. So again, get creative. So I have my smudge stick. I'm going to set my ash catcher down, and I'm going to light the end of my sage stick. Get it started. More. You know, sometimes they can take a minute to get them to catch and really start smoking. You always want to be careful whenever we're using fire. I just have to say that. All right, and now I'm going to use my hand to draw the smoke up and over my torso, my head, over my body. I'm going to gently close my eyes. I'm going to take a nice deep breath in. Let it go. I call to the healing and supportive energies that surrounds me. I seek your assistance in cleansing the space and clearing any unwanted energies. Through the rising smoke, hear my prayers. Only positive shall remain, all negative is banished. Only positive shall remain, all negative is banished. Only positive shall remain, all negative is banished. So mote it be. I give thanks to the supporting energies that are here with me. Again, there is no right or wrong way to create your ceremony. If you are looking for some knowledge or guidance on smudging in particular, you can check out my introduction to smudging and clearing video right here on my YouTube channel, The Hedge. You can also find me on Facebook for my Facebook Live events under the same name, The Hedge. And I'll go ahead and check out, see if I have any questions now? Great. All right. Okay. So it looks like I have a couple of people watching. Not a whole lot of questions over there. I do want to thank you all for tuning in this afternoon and on my first podcast talking about rituals. I look forward to hosting my next podcast soon. Please stay tuned for more information. Merry we meet, merry we part. Blessed be, my friend.